a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. We've taken a screenshot of what it looks like, of what your browser should look like in the attendee interface. You should see something that looks like this on your own computer desktop in the upper right-hand corner. You're listening in on your computer speaker system by default, but if you would prefer to join over the phone, just select telephone in the audio pane and the dial-in information will be displayed. You'll have the opportunity to submit questions to us by typing them into the questions pane of the control panel. For some people, this window is automatically collapsed, so you might need to expand it. You can send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and we'll collect them and address them during the Q&A session at the end. If we don't get to your question, we'll definitely follow up with you afterwards. So I'm going to start by giving you a very brief overview of our product, Documoto. We help equipment manufacturers and asset-intensive companies create digital parts catalogs, provide accessible technical support, and sell and order parts online with our SaaS solution. Using our platform, you can organize your parts information into a relational database, which makes creating and maintaining parts catalogs and optimizing your parts ordering and support a breeze. And for asset-intensive companies like transit agencies, you can use Documoto to integrate your service orders and provide service manuals and other documentation. Currently, we're working with some transit agencies like RTD in Colorado, LA Metro out in California, the Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority, Union Pacific, and more. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our presenter today, Michael Cummings. Michael is the Customer Success Manager at Digitize, where he works with customers to optimize their productivity with Documoto's features. He also works closely with our asset-intensive clients to make sure their needs are being met and that their continued use of the software is going smoothly. So, Michael, thank you for being here today, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Super. Thanks, Julie. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day to be with us. We here at Digitize take pride in the fact that we can actually hear when your eyes gloss over, so we're going to try to make the most of this. We pledge to give you some good information. It won't be long, and if we'd love to hear your questions at the end. So frankly, just as a general overview, this is about tapping the power of technology to solve a big problem in the transit world. Well, let's start out by defining what we mean by SGR, or State of Good Repair and Asset Management. This is likely familiar for most of you since we use the same definition as the Federal Transit Authority, FTA. A transit system is in a state of good repair when the following criteria are met. Possesses and maintains a comprehensive list of its capital assets and rolling stock. Possesses an asset management plan which is integrated into the management processes and practices of the agency. A certain percentage of its assets are within their articulated useful life, and remaining assets are performing at their designated design for function. And transit infrastructure and vehicles are well maintained and replaced before their condition deteriorates to the point of presenting a safety risk or delay risk. Infrastructures and vehicles meet customer expectations for comfort and reliability. So maintaining the condition of transit infrastructure is an issue of national importance and safety. According to the FAA, more than 40% of the nation's buses and 25% of its rail transit assets are in marginal or poor condition. And backlog maintenance and replacement needs come in an estimated cost of $86 billion. And because transit users are a small subset of the U.S. population, the federal government is hard-pressed to pour money into transit-related infrastructure. But if routine maintenance isn't performed, it can lead to accidents, injuries, and delays that could have been prevented, like we saw in what's deemed in New York, the summer of hell of 2017, with their multiple delays and obviously very, very unhappy customers. We see headlines in the papers too frequently about accidents, especially with trains that injure dozens of people. The FTA recognizes the importance of state of good repair. Any transit agency receiving federal funds has to meet FTA's asset management requirements. Agencies are required to develop and self-certify a transit asset management plan, or TAM. This plan must include an asset inventory, an assessment of the condition of those assets, and a strategy for reaching and maintaining the assets in a state of good repair. This plan must also link with the agency's safety management plan and a decision support system that prioritizes investments based on risk and measured performance. So, where does technology fit in, and how can it help you be FTA compliant? First, Technology for state of good repair is hugely important to underfunded agencies, which most are. Software solutions, specifically software as a service or SaaS, provides better asset control and management and can be rolled out quickly and inexpensively, and depending on the cost, without a long procurement process. First, let's look at transparency, awareness, and consolidation in regards to technology. It used to be that transit agencies would create and maintain asset lists in different formats, or different departments and divisions would have their own list. This silo was the game, and you had to play it to protect your own turf. A software platform that allows you to consolidate your information to one database and also allows multiple users to submit updates and enter data means that everyone is working from the same source, so everyone can make decisions based on real-time data. Technology helps with planning ahead. Once the information is compiled into a central database, your agency can start developing long-term planning and accurately determine your future capital needs and funding. Technology also allows agencies to maintain the information necessary to justify their expenses and capital needs and share it with the public and stakeholders to be as transparent as possible about costs and their spending. Next, technology helps with ongoing maintenance and repair. After you've used technology to help with your long-term planning and strategy, with compiling lists of assets and determining timelines for repairs, it can also help with the actual maintenance and repairs, specifically in the form of electronics parts catalogs, online parts ordering, and storing other documentation in a central location in the cloud. Bus and rail vehicle manufacturers generally will provide you with paper parts catalogs and service manuals. If you're lucky, they may provide this information on the CD. This can be problematic for a few reasons. First, the information they provide is usually outdated as soon as it's sent out. Part numbers can be changed, or parts themselves can change, and a static PDF or paper document can't be updated. Second, with books and manuals spread around you, you lose out on the sharing of that information. If a mechanic learns that a part has changed, he may write it down in his own manual or in his head, but not share that information with his colleagues, meaning the same issues and challenges will continue happening. So using a SaaS platform like Documoto, equipment manufacturers provide source content and information which is uploaded into the platform to create an electronics parts catalogs. Through a structured database, if changes need to be made, an administrator can do it through the software in only one place, and that change is reflected everywhere that other part is found. So maintenance staff is consumed for hours each day searching for correct parts information. Technology and electronics parts catalogs address everyday challenges that operators and maintenance staff face by taking existing content and organizing it on the web. Users can graphically navigate the entire assembly down to a single boat in seconds in order to obtain the correct part number. And thousands of pages of documentation can be found in just a few clicks. Additionally, procedural documentation like instructional videos, updates and safety alerts can be related within those documents where service and maintenance personnel will be looking for them. There is less time lost to maintenance or having to reorder something. It saves money in the unaccounted for cost to fix mistakes, and also means that vehicles can be back in service faster and the order process moves quicker. Finally, you want to be able to integrate your electronics parts catalogs into whatever current EAM or parts ordering system you have. This is important. Knowing you have the right parts information is only half the battle. You need to have a system in place to order the parts. Look for a system that can suggest other parts that might be needed. You can also use technology to track what parts are being used most frequently. The best way to explain how you can utilize technology in your asset management system is to give a real-life example. This is what we did with LA Metro. So LA Metro provides bus and rail service to the entire LA Metro area. With over 2,000 buses and 6 rail lines, their estimated ridership is over 450 million trips per year. That's a lot of miles covered and a lot of vehicle wear and tear. And they employ over 2,300 mechanics to work on those vehicles. The problem is that they invested heavily in an automated parts distribution warehouse with robotic parts pickers and a conveyor system that delivered parts directly from the warehouse to the maintenance shop. Their parts delivery system was linked to the enterprise asset management platform, the N4 N3 system. The problem with this, though, is their parts look of an ordering system was outdated. Mechanics diagnosed vehicle problems, then created a parts list by viewing PDFs and manually writing down part numbers. Then they would open the AAM portal and enter the part numbers to create an order. It would take about an hour for the parts to arrive from the distribution center. But obtaining accurate part information from manufacturers' PDFs remains slow and tedious, and submitting an incorrect part number could result in huge delays. Before implementing Documoto, technicians ordered an incorrect part on 25% of all orders. So reordering the correct part involved at least a 30-minute delay before the right part arrived back at the service bay. Think about this. How much time is lost with over 2,300 mechanics losing a half an hour of work on 25% of the jobs? This is what Metro had to fix. They knew they needed to connect their EAM to their maintenance personnel and reduce the wait time for parts at the service window. And they knew the right solution had to interface with their EAM and be able to integrate immediately. In addition, they wanted a program that was web-based, could be installed quickly, and all their mechanics could access from their devices. They chose Documoto because it was the only product on the market they felt met this key criteria. So when Metro rolled out Documoto, they hoped that the maintenance personnel would transition without much struggle. And due to our experience and dedicated implementation team, Metro staff found Documoto to be a valuable tool right away. Now, by simply logging in, Metro mechanics can quickly find parts catalogs and manuals with the Documoto web library. Instead of clicking through static PDF pages, they used advanced search capabilities to find parts and confirm them with exploded illustrations linked to interactive parts lists. From there, parts can quickly be placed in shopping carts and transferred directly to an OpenM3 material request. Behind the scenes, LA Metro can edit and update information in seconds. They don't have to wait for bus manufacturers to send out manuals. Now the updates are instantaneous, and service technicians get the latest part information from the jobs they're performing. If there is a change to a part number, staff can update it through Documoto, and that information goes out immediately to all users at once. This is complete uniformity to their data and information. And here's what's most important: the return on investment. These are impressive numbers by any standard, and I hear similar things from all our other asset-intensive customers. LA Metro's order accuracy improved from 75% to over 99%, saving hundreds of hours of labor costs daily. They've also eliminated the need for paper manuals since all information is stored in Documoto. Most importantly, it saves time for the mechanics. They don't have to look for information all across their silos, and because of the 99% plus accuracy in ordering, they can finish their projects much faster. And that means that vehicles can be back on the roads faster, resulting in better service for those 43 million passengers. So, in summary, this is a proven case for using technology to improve asset management and state of good repair. Not only does it make people's jobs easier, but there's proven savings in time and money. By taking the steps to streamline this process, your transit agency wins, and that means your customers and riders win by providing them safe and reliable service. That's my portion of it. I'll turn it back over to Julia and see if we have any questions.
Awesome, Michael. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. We're now going to begin answering the questions that have been submitted. There's still time. If you want to submit a question, please go ahead and type it into the box on your go-to control panel, and we'll get to those questions. So our first question, it comes from Alex, and he wants to know, he says, at my agency for larger purchases, we have a lengthy RFP process, and we also have to make requests to get it included in our annual budget. What's your pricing model like, and do you work with companies that do RFPs?
So that's a good question. Thanks, Alex. Our pricing model, we're based on a subscription, so this is software as a service. We have annual license fees and just user counts. So these are our named users. Now, we've worked with so many transit systems. We're well-versed in the RFP process. Alex, if you want to break off, contact me directly. Happy to work with you. We even advise some transit systems on really what to write in their RFI and RFP process. So you're getting exactly what you want, and it helps to really refine it, especially in a competitive bid environment. So happy to work with you, and we've done that many times.
Great. Okay, that's good information. So our next question comes from Dan, and he wants to know, with a software as a service product, how does it roll out? So do you have people that come out and put it on the computer, install it on the computers, or how does their staff access the program?
So that's also a good question. In some SaaS models, there is software that you download. We have a DocuStudio program that's the authoring side of things, where this is the creation side. So there is a creation software that you do download. As far as the rollout is concerned, users on the system don't have to download anything. They go to the Documoto site with a web link, they log in, they're in. That's it. And I can also address some of the security measures. We contract through Amazon Web Services, so as far as your data security is concerned, they are obviously top in the world for data encryption and protection. So all of your data is secure, and it's really, really easy to roll out.
Awesome. That's good to know. So we have one final question. It's kind of along the lines of what you were just talking about and the security of data. So Eric wants to know how secure is our data, and how do we control who has access to it?
Very good question. So again, Amazon Web Services, that's who we service through. When you're logging in, you're on an Amazon server, so quite protected, and I think we're up to 256-bit encryption. As far as the access controls are, you can determine from an admin perspective who gets to see what and who gets to do what. So you have full control. So if I'm a user and all I need to see is my little patch, my little area, my little bus, it can be organized in groups to limit that access. If you need God status, see all, do all, you can apply that to any user and every layer in between. So we're very flexible on access controls and who can see and do what.
Awesome, that's great. Okay, so to be respectful of everybody's time, that's all we're going to have time for questions for today. But as a reminder, if we didn't get to your question, we'll be reaching out to you to follow up individually to answer those. So I wanted to thank you all again for attending today's webinar, Is Your Parts Data Trainwreck 4 Reasons to Digitize Your State of Good Repair. I also want to thank Michael so much for being our presenter today. I've currently got some contact information up on the screen for you, so if you're interested in learning more about Documoto or scheduling a demo, you can contact our sales team at sales@digabit.com. And if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to Michael directly at michael.cummings@digabit.com. And then, of course, there's our website, which also has a lot of great resources on there. So once you leave today's webinar, you'll receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a link to view a recording of today's webinar. And on behalf of Digabit, we want to thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.